SmashFactor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to episode 114 of the Smash Factor, the WGC St. Jude Invitational 2020 edition. Coming to you live from Norman, Oklahoma on a stormy, rainy day right now, but it's a great Monday. We have a new tournament, thank God, based on last week's massacre. And an off-field event with the CUDA or Barracuda Championship. Doesn't look like they're going to have DraftKings again. They've yet to have it when they've had the Stableford scoring. And I saw on Twitter today that many people asked them, and they said, no, we won't have it this year. So it looks like all we have for DraftKings-wise is the WGC St. Jude, and we'll have betting options, obviously, for both. So we'll get into that a little later. First, we'll wrap up last week's 3M Open. Was, at least as long as I've been tracking this kind of cut numbers, the lowest 6-6 and 5-6 percentage I've ever seen at a tournament. So obviously most of the industry or even players didn't do very well, but someone has to win, and someone did win. Not me. Definitely had a rough week. Won't be as long of a pod tonight. We only got 70-something guys, and these are the few exceptions. The top players in the world. It's a no cut event, so we'll kind of get into quick recap, run through this. Probably 35-40 minutes at most today. It's going to be a lot of splitting hairs. I mean, these guys up top, you really if you want to fade the top or get balanced, and we'll kind of get into that strategy wise, especially. With barring a withdrawal, you get guaranteed 4 rounds. So a lot of scoring opportunity. Although this course plays tough and played tough last year in general, at least we don't have to worry about cut sweating. A couple guys out there, DJ Brooks, potential withdrawal potentials. I don't think Brooks as much. He's kind of came out last week and said he's not a performance issue. He's just got to let it get better. DJ, we don't know about. We don't know if he just sucked again and missed a cut. Withdrew after round 1 or what. Obviously, other than DJ and Brooks, I faded most of the chalk. I had Finau, did not have Harris English, so that definitely hurt on some of my good 5-6, 4-16s. I had one good 6-16 with Finau that just kind of fell apart Sunday, but not much sweat for me at all. Showdown did not do well. It just wasn't a good week overall for me. I didn't play a lot as I normally do. On the showdowns and stuff, scale back a little bit. Mainly I was out of town at an alumni golf tournament. But I did play some and just didn't get it's a day late or a day early on some of the guys. Had Wolf, Finau, Saturday. Both played like horrible, and everybody else is going 6, 7, 8 under. And I knew I shouldn't have went off of Wolf Sunday, and I did. And he played good. I don't know if he wasn't really in the optimal, but I had Robbie Shelton was a great play for me Sunday. I had a lot of pieces there, just couldn't get the top in right. Betting, I haven't done the recap yet. I'm catching back up from being gone on the weekend, but I'll have it out tonight or early tomorrow. Obviously didn't have outright winner. I don't know if anybody had Michael Thompson, but Sunday I know I lost I think it was the Moore bet over Noren. I think I won the other one, so I went 1-1, but lost a 2-star. Definitely scaled back. I liked how the Baitcore management was there. We'll go back at it again. A betting event that's somewhat hard to look at value because typically the cream rises to the crop in these WGCs when you talk about winning. So as far as 3M Open goes, that's pretty much it. Those kind of events we're used to it. You can have anybody come out and win. You can have a bunch of chalk miss. It's one of the weaker fields, if not the weakest field that we'll see in the up until we go to the fall swing, but through the rest of this run. We got, WGC this week. major next week, and then Wyndham and the FedEx run. So a lot of good tournaments to get ready for. Before we get into this week, as always, you can go to gipstorm.com/affiliates, click on the link for Super Draft, use the code GUP. You get free $10 when you deposit $10 or more. Put that 20 into play and make some money. We have Super Draft golf coverage, toe to toe on that. So, guys have done pretty well on it. Even when, some of the other things there's always extra value in there once you start to understand the multiplier, and D-Rock does a good job of that. And even the Slack, as much as they've been playing, is an add-on to talk about the Super Draft strategy. There's a Super Draft channel, so you can go in there and kind of get some of that. The scoring and content and stuff like that's all integrated with our tools as well. So probably have as good of a Super Draft coverage anybody is, especially for golf. We'll have it for NFL too. Depending on how everything rolls out with baseball and all that kind of stuff, who knows what'll happen with baseball after today. I don't think it's anything outrageous. I think Twitter lost its mind this morning. I really don't get on Twitter much anymore. I really just try to stay positive, and that's not a place of positivity. Everybody had to know this is going to happen. I mean, there's going to be times like these happen. It's going to happen in NFL. It doesn't mean they're going to shut everything down. Like, they just can't keep shutting everything down per se. And the wear the mask group, that's not going to, you're playing sports, it's going to happen. They're going to take that chance, that risk, and they're just going to have to adapt to it. Luckily, PGA has done a great job, and they can distance each other. So let's just hope that continues. NBA seems real positive with low or none of the test here heading into their first week. I think I saw earlier when I just happened to pop up somewhere that NHL had its third round of testing and 0 positives, I believe. So there's gonna be goods and bads with it. We're just gonna have to, we're gonna have to work with it. But I don't think there's one positive test or one little breakout that everything shuts down again. It's just not gonna happen, people. It's just not. Whether you're on one side or the other, I'm not voicing my opinion for either side. I'm just saying that's not going to be the reaction. So to freak out for 3 or 4 hours is a waste of time, in my opinion. We're going to work on other things instead of talking about that. Use the code SMASH20, get 20% off all of our packages right now. We've added a weekly package that includes the tools, all the tools, the Green Machine lineup builder. We are about to work in phase 2 of adding MLB, NBA, football, like multiple position type sports as well. So, grinding on that. A lot of great feedback for what we have out there now for NASCAR, golf, and then MMA's out there, but we're still working on getting where you can tab off of the 2 fighters in the same lineup type of deal. If you want, we had we'd have a lot of people say, I want to try out everything for a week instead of just the content. So we went ahead and added that for you. You can use 20% off on any of our packages out there with Smash 20 today. The new polos, week 1, I don't think we're in a full week, maybe just at a full week. Great start. You guys are doing good there. I will be giving away a polo. I'll be giving away 3 prizes on Wednesday, and it's going to be for listeners only. Because it's the only place I'm going to put it. I may tease it when I post the Smash, but I'm not going to say exactly what it is. You had to listen, and it's simple. I'm going to pick 3 winners from iTunes reviews. So please go or go give us a 5-star, give us a review. The guy that won the last one had reviewed us almost a year ago. So if you reviewed us, you're in there, right? If you don't know how to review for whatever reason, just DM me or JB. We'll show you how to do it. It's simple. It takes literally 10 seconds to do the 5-star, and then maybe another minute or so to write a review. You're in the drawing, and we'll pick 3 winners out on Wednesday. And it's going to be people that reviewed us based on this. One will be one of the brand new polos. So that'll be cool. And then probably some DK cash or something like that. I may give away 2. Going to do some big giveaways next week for the PGA Championship. So holding some of that back a little bit. But this week, we're definitely give away 1 polo to someone who gives us a review. So if you haven't done that yet, it goes a long way. We cracked the top 25 in the country last week, I think Thursday night. In fantasy sports on Apple iTunes. That's great. We appreciate your support. We continue to grow. The only other 2 kind of significant, that only talk about golf really, that were up there was Mayo was 6th, and then Fantasy DGen was 21st, and we were 25th. So pretty awesome. Thank you guys for that. Keep pushing us there. Give us likes and shares on Twitter. It helps out a lot. Let's review last week's listener league, then we'll head over to the WGC St. Jude Invitation. We'll knock it out real quick. Last week's winner, I think he is at least a two-time winner. BJY 3590. I know he's at least been up there. He's got a logo, and he may have already won this year. I need to double check that. I'm going to steal Tambo and Kenny's idea of starting a league of winners and have one big contest. I don't know if I'll do it this year. You guys give me feedback if it's too late to do that. I can try to go back and get as many of the winners, but for sure we'll start it with the 2020, 2021 PGA season. I think that's pretty cool. Everybody that wins we'll put into that league, and then we'll have one big, it's kind of like qualifying for a live queue type of deal. You get in there and we'll have one big pool for one of the bigger golf tournaments before they shrink them down next year. I think that's a good idea. He had Finau, Norlander, who Norlander charged for him on Sunday, Harmon, Homa, Wiesberger, and Gooch. Pretty strong lineup for 6 of 6. That's number one step for last week was huge. And then had a pretty good Sunday for most of those guys to get them up there and a great lineup in general. So congrats to BJY 3590. We'll head over to the WGC St. Jude Invitational. This is the second year this is hosted a WGC field. So if you're looking at my rankings and stuff like that, you'll see that the 2019 is WGC, and then before that is FedEx. So I am still only looking at the Memphis history when I'm talking about course fit, course history. Be cognitive of that the fields may not have been as strong the 3 prior years to last year. I'm not pulling in any of the Firestone, Bridgestone, I believe is the one that this took place of WGC wise, because it's really irrelevant. I'm going to just look at guys that have played this course. Although last year's setup was a little different, I think that gives us better than nothing type of deal. So second year for a WGC field, which, as I mentioned, means no cut. Could have withdrawal possibilities, and that's about it. So everybody's here, gets to play 4 rounds. Everybody gets a paycheck. And then now they got a major next week. So it's kind of a little different situation, but we'll deal with that as we get through the pod. Par 70, only 2 par 5s, 7,200. Not real long. The par 5s are kind of shorter and easier per se. The par 4s are really, really tough here. Some of the toughest par 4s as a whole on course. Georgia fairways, which are so pure. If you never played on Georgia fairways, they're amazing to hit off of. But they are Bermuda greens and rough. Can have some thick rough. There's a chance of rain every single day. Even I think today, I know I'm at this storm system is moving east, which pretty much will head right into that area. Anywhere from 60 to 90%. The nice thing is if they decide to go off, split tees and threesomes with only 70. Right now in DraftKings pool, there were 77 guys. I don't know if anybody will get added overnight. Michael Thompson was in there when I ran all my numbers. I think he was the only one that may not have been in there. So, 77 guys, they'll find a way to squeeze it in, I think. I don't think there'll be any worry. And then because they're all in tight groups in general most of the time, it's hard to really get an advantage. But definitely that'll be something we monitor as we get towards Wednesday. To see if there's any type of wave advantage. I don't think so, because anytime you have these smaller fields, they're so close together, I don't think you can nail a quote-unquote advantage. Maybe in Showdown, you may go, it's going to be beautiful the first hour and a half, and you just load up on those early guys. That's something we can talk about Wednesday on E9. Like I just mentioned, weather concerns is pretty much it. We'll talk about that, more on E9. Cut, no cut. Prior, old school, it was like +1 even, something like that, but no cut to worry about this week. I had the score going to be around probably -13, -14. Could get a little lower, meaning 15 or 16 if it is soft and the course, they can't really do nothing about it. If you're getting constant rain and constant issues like that, they can't dry it out or anything like that. So it may set up to be a little more scoreable and pin seeking type of deal. But other than that, 14, 15, I think it's definitely plays harder than what we've dealt with the last few weeks. 19 under, winning it, stuff like that, 20, 21 type of deal. The ranges this week kind of balanced out. You got 5 in the 10K, 10 in the 9K, 10 in the 8K, 17 in the 7K, and 35 in the 6K. Lends itself to more of a balanced approach. You got 10 in the 9Ks as much as we've seen all year. Looks like about 25-ish new guys to WGC here. If you're looking at all 4 years, it's less than that. But if we're talking about guys that didn't play it last year only, I think it was 20, 25, somewhere in that number. So something to keep in mind if you're looking at that, but nothing too dramatic. The pricing itself, I don't want to call it major-esque like as far as soft, but there's just names that to make it all fit. Some of these guys are getting bumped down. It could be potential values and been playing well. So balance to me is what I read as the first 24, 30 hours of studying, but we'll see how that comes as we hear all the industry and see what people are keying on for the week. If you're new to the pod, and obviously we've had a lot of you guys who've never made the top 25, so I appreciate that again. I do the Dirty Dozen. It's 4 tiers, 3 picks each, 9K and above, 7,600 to 8,900, 7,500 or less. And then the last tier is a flop, a fade, and a sleeper. Flop is someone I don't think they're going to return their value for their dollar price. Fade is someone most likely fading because of ownership, but it could be course setup, course history, recent form, DJ, something like that. That's a tough one this week. We'll get to that in a second. Sleeper is my favorite play, 6,900 or less on the Monday night. That can change by Wednesday, but generally I don't move off the sleeper. I just may find someone I like a little more by the time I get to Wednesday and do some deep dive. But it's the guy right now, first out, who I like the best. Then I do a little roundtable wrap up, which will be smaller this week. We only have 77 guys to go through, so I don't want to spew out 50 of them and everybody be at the end of the pod going, well, I don't really know who to play. Set them all. Betting strategy, I switched it up a few weeks ago. I've had positive feedback there. I'm just going to give my snap reaction. 24 hours in, top 10 outright plays as I sit here Monday night. Do a little one and done strategy. Gup's back in it. Segment 3, I actually get to pick something and it matter because I have sucked this year. So if you are new to one and done, this is week 1 of segment 3, and it's also week 3 of the kind of majors big boy pool, if you will. I think that's right. And the next week will be week 4, and there's a few more. I think there's 6 in there, and 8, maybe 8. I don't know the exact number, but you can look at the schedule and they're highlighted, they're bolded on there. I think this is the 3rd one for that. So this is a double big week. So we've only had 2, and there's a lot more still to come that goes through the Masters. And then segment 3 is a restart. So, if you're dead on the big one, unless a big run like myself, I'm probably, because we got some pretty good tournaments here, pretty good pots. Like I'm going to be using my big boys. So we'll get a little more into that this week. Then we'll wrap it up with Gup's final thoughts. We'll call it a night. Dirty Dozen, tier 1, 9,000 or above. I'm going to go to Hovland as my number 1 play. He's number 1 in my rankings right now, number 5 in recent form. He has not played this. I guess that's a downside. Given he gets 4 rounds at it, I'm not too worried about it. Hitting the fairways here is going to be great, and that's what he's number 1 in good drive stat for me on the week. And so I'm not too worried about him, playing or having trouble adapting. 48th at Memorial, 3rd at Workday, 12th at RMC. I think the price, I like the price point. I don't think he's the best in the field per se, but I like the price where he's at. I like where he starts your lineups at. My number 2 play, 9K or above, is Rory. I'll be interested to see where people are on Rahm. I think Rahm will get talked up a lot, deservingly so. He had a 7th here last year, 27th, and he won the Memorial. I think for $200 more, and I just think Rory's due to break out. He had a 4th here last year, 32nd at Memorial. I saw some pictures on Twitter or video, maybe it's Instagram last night, of him, striping it, really working hard. I'm not putting a lot into that, but if I'm going up there, right now my 2 favorites in that area is going to be Rory and JT. I only wanted 1 for this first tier, so I went with Rory. Very close with Rahm. I can see it, but my presumption right now is that Rahm is going to be much higher talked up owned. So I'm going to go to Rory. Any guy can hit the ball like that, drive it. Every single stat category, he's, worse. He's top 34 half, but most of them he's top 5. So I like Rory. And then last, I'm going to go to Brooks. I fear a little bit of him being chalky because he's close. He played well. I know he's already been talked up betting wise at 33-1. That number's come down in spots. I'm probably going to take the opposite approach of maybe some. I'm probably going to bet DJ. I know I'll bet DJ because that's my FOMO. I don't know if he'll make the official card, but I'll probably bet DJ, and I just don't know if I can talk myself into him this week at all. Like, he's just crushed me. As much as he won me and us, 5 weeks ago when he won the tournament. I mean, I made 5 figures that week. It was a great week. He's absolutely annihilated me the last 2 weeks. And so, and not even look good at it. Like, it ain't like he's like Brooks, even when he missed a cut 2 out of the last 3 weeks and he got a 60-second, it's really been putting for the most part. Irons were a little shaky. Those are picking up. I just wonder how chalky he's going to be at 9,200. In the next range, you'll get one of my favorite plays, but that's the only thing I'm kind of worried there. But outside, I mean, just pure Monday reaction. He's got, and this is going back to the old FedEx layout. He's played it the last 4 years for sure. A second, a 37th, a 30th, and that's full fields. And then last year he won it. So likes the place, likes coming here. Used to come here before it was even a big boy tournament. So I like that. It makes me feel like he really likes this place. So I like Brooks 9,200. Tier 3, one of my favorite plays of the week, and I've already bet him. He's my free play of the week to you guys. That the community got 4 plays this morning. But this is the one I'll give away for free. Patrick Reed, 8,800, 12th here last year. But if you go look, he was the number 1 T2 green guy that lost strokes putting. There was 2 guys that did it. I think it was him and Matsu. I'd have to double check it. But he lost over 2 strokes putting on a course that strokes putting was pretty relevant last year. Brooks had 9. And I think people may overreact to that because he also was still number 1, top 3 in tee to green. So it's like he had 9, yes, but he still hit the ball good tee to green. He just killed it putting as well. So maybe he loves these greens. And if that's the truth, then that's the thing that's been missing for him. So I do like him. And I may wind up going ahead and betting Brooks, but I like Reed. I like where his game's at right now. 8,800 seems too cheap for him. Right now, he's a core play for me. Missed the cut at RMC, but then a 39th and a 10th. He took the last week off, so I kind of like that. Get a little rest, get ready for this. PGA, I like where Reed's sitting right now. My next pick is Billy Ho. I wanted to I could throw out a bunch of names here, and they're all going to be good plays. Like, no one's a bad play, really. I mean, there's some in there that are kind of, I don't even know who they are. From the overseas guys, the WGC guys that don't come over here very much. But I kind of wonder if he's just going to kind of skate under the radar, especially where he's at price-wise. Fleetwood's right by him. Reed, like I said, Answer, who's been pretty popular. Jason Day picking up a little bit of steam. But I like Horschel. He's doesn't pop out crazy anywhere, but he's top 20 in everything I'm looking at. 8,500, that's good. His last 3 years here, a 4th, 51st, and a 9th. His last 2 tournaments, a 7th and a 13th at Workday Memorial, took the week off. He obviously likes it here. He's 3 straight made cuts. Obviously, last year wasn't a cut field, but I like Horschel. Then the next one is Fleetwood. I like Fleetwood in this zone as well. 8,700, shake the rust off week last week. Showed some flashes, and it really just looked like some rust, some tournament rust, but he finished 4th here last year. So played it, did well. Obviously missed the cut last week. Stat-wise, he's top 24 overall for me. Price just seems good, 8,700. I mean, I can start, Reed, Fleetwood, Billy Ho, and have a pretty good balance lineup there and decide where I want to go from there. Do I want to get, really low and then a big boy name or whatever? But those give you some options in that zone. A zone that'll be peppered, but all these will be peppered because it's only 77 guys, and there's probably 10 to 15 that most guys won't have 5% on. So really condensed ownership. It's really about playing the guys and the builds that you like this week, because you could argue splitting hairs with all these guys all week long. Third tier, 7,500 or less. I mean, shocker, new to the pod. Neiman, 7,400 all day for me. It will be one of my favorite plays. I just need a putter. If he can just putt, I mean, he played it 2 years ago. He missed the cut, but if you go back and look at his stats again, they weren't terrible. Just like 2 weeks ago, he was one of the tops in the field, tee to green, and just absolutely couldn't putt. But at Workday, finished 31st. Stat-wise, he's my number 3 ranked guy, stats alone, that I'm looking at my model. I don't think I mentioned him. My key stats this week I'm looking at are his good drive, accurate approach, green and regulation, ball striking. Overall tee to green, I don't use that very much, but I tend to a lot on WGC because he has such elite talent. And then bogey avoidance. I really like bogey avoidance this week because you're going to have to avoid the bogeys out here. It's not just a score fest. There's some trouble. So I like Neiman this week. That's not just a FOMO play either. I really do like him at that price. I think he's underpriced there, and I do like his betting numbers. We're 80-ish is what I've seen. I've seen as low as 65, so it kind of depends on your book. Connors, another team no putt to an extent. 7,300, number 2 in my stats. Last 2 years, he made the cut 2 years ago, 68th, and last year he finished 27th, which is pretty good. 75, 80 field deal, $7,300. I mean, if he can top 25 that probably returns your value. And he's a guy that can get birdies, even though he may get a bogey or two, but he's only average on bogey avoidance, but he's number 1 in greens, number 1 in accurate approaches, number 7 in good drive. I really like Connors this week as well. Leishman is my last one in this range. He's 7,700. Kind of out of the box. I don't really. He got a third here last year. Seemed to play it well. He's not coming in like hot fire or anything. I think he'll be low owned. That's why I kind of went there. A 40th at Memorial, missed the cut at Workday. Stats are just okay. He's going to be more of a leverage play for me, but as of right now, I like him. That could change a little bit by Wednesday, but for now, I like Leishman as my third play. 4th tier, as I mentioned, flop, fade, and sleeper. My flop this week is Woodland. $8,600. He's a guy that's been putting his lights out, so he's kind of opposite of what you tend to look for. His only 2 times here in the last 4 years, he missed the cut in 16. Last year got 55 out of, call it 75-ish, which is not great. He's 43rd in my stat rankings right now in the time I'm looking at. So he's just nothing's popping off for 8,600. I'm gonna do the flop on Woodland this week. My fade is Bryson. Bryson's played here 2 of the last 3 years. He's missed the cut and finished 48th. I don't know if this course sets up to him real well. Obviously, his game's completely changed, but $11,000. He missed the cut at Memorial, and obviously the one big hole cost him, but this course is similar. Like, you can get in trouble in a heartbeat, and I don't think the pressure gets to him or the big boy feel gets to him or anything like that. But if I can have Rory for 200 more, and I'm sure I won't be the only person saying this, or drop down like a Terrell Hatton at 9,700 or whatever he is, Webb will be popular. 9,900, even Cantley, JT. Like, I'll take JT and Rory all day over Bryson, me personally. So I hope Bryson gets talked up, but he's going to be my fade this week. Sleeper, I'm going to go with T-Dunks. Duncan, $6,200. Tyler, he's 21st in stats. He's 18th overall in my model. He played here 2 years ago, finished 37th. That's a cut field, so 150-ish people. That's a good result for him. He's made his last 2 cuts. I mean, $6,200, that's all we need from him. Typically, obviously, he gets to play. And he is a guy, if you go back, he's a roller coaster type, kind of like Doc. Like, he can reel off some birdies and then normally have like a double that gets him in trouble in potential cut line. So probably his first WGC, I'm going to go on a limb and say. And I wonder if that will relax him. He just goes, all right, I just get to go play, right? So a double doesn't kill me. I still get to play till Sunday. So I really like a guy like that this week. His stats look good, especially for $6,200. Really opens up your lineup building. So I like Duncan going into Thursday. Roundtable wrap up. Berger, I presume, will be talked about a lot. He obviously won here back-to-back, 16 and 17. He did miss a cut in 18 when everybody was on him. He missed the cut at Memorial after he's had a pretty good reboot. So I'm going to let ownership drive that. He gets talked up a lot. He's going to be chalky at 9,600. I won't play him. If he's going to kind of just flirt around there, I don't mind having some of them. He's second in my recent form, second in my course history, 22nd in stats, though. So I could fade him and not be too off of him. JT, as I mentioned, is my second favorite play from 10K and above. DJ, I already talked about. You talk about recent form versus course history battles. Miscut, tour. 3 straight 80s, I think. Maybe he birdied 18 before he withdrew to get to 79, but not good. But number 1 in course fit. 5th in 16, won it in 18, won it going away in 18, killed the field, and a 20th last year. I just can't get there. I just don't see anything that tells me, and I think he'll just be massively low owned. I don't know how many people are going to be clicking that button. In a GPP, would I at least take 8 to 10% if that's where the field's going to be? Probably. Is he in my 1 to 3 max builds? I don't see it right now, and I don't know how I could even convince myself come Wednesday. I'd rather just bet it and go, all right, if he wins it, at least I got that FOMO bet in. Casey will be interesting. Has not looked good since coming back. 2 back-to-back miscuts. Memorial was just a big number last week. He's stat-wise, he's still good overall long haul. He finished 27th here last year. I think he'll be chalky again. I don't know these Casey lovers if they're going to go back to him and back to him and back to him. But the trick is he's 7,800. So like, well, I mean, he opens up a lot, and his stat-wise, he's always going to look good tee to green. So he couldn't putt last week, and it hurt him. Kind of like Brooks, but you're $1,400 cheaper than Brooks. So I could see Casey creeping back up as being high owned again, but we'll see. Cantley, I think Cantley may go quietly under the radar this week. I don't know if I'm going to go 3 guys, 10K plus. Maybe if I do 50 to 100 lineups, I do that. But 12th here last year, a 7th and a 32nd. He's 11th in my stat model, 10-1. Could just kind of people go, they're going to use Rory, they're going to use Rahm, they're going to use JT, and then they may just go, I'm going to skip on down to the rest of it. 9K if I want to go that way out. So I could see Cantley being kind of squeezed out there. Rahm, mentioned him. I just don't know if I want to go up to that 11-4. I'd rather have Rory. Finau, I'll go back to him. $9,100. I get 4 rounds out of him. He's got a 3rd and an 8th the last 2 weeks. A 27th here last year. He's 9th in my stat model. I don't need him to win at 9,100, so he's definitely playable. Morikawa 9,500. Didn't play here yet, or hasn't played here yet. I apologize. Won the workday, 48th at Memorial. Didn't play last week. He's 5th in my stat model. He's top 8 in 5 of my 6 stats. Good drive is the only one he's not. The other, he's 4th, 3rd, 3rd, 5th, 8th. It just very consistent, kind of like Hovland. Hovland's top 13 in all the stats. He's 5th, 1st, 8th, 2nd, 3rd, 13th, which is why he's my number 1 play this week. But I don't mind Morikawa either. Nick Taylor, 6,100. I think it's a good value down there. Played here 2 years ago, got a 30th. He did miss a cut at Memorial, but a 48th at Workday, 16th in my stat model, 21st in bogey avoidance. So I like that from a $6,100 price guy. Just someone to throw out there, if you're looking to creep down in the 6s and try to find someone. Matsu's kind of like DJ to me. Obviously, I'm team Matsu most of the time. 8,900 seems cheap, so I could see him, this eye candy, sticker prize, people jumping on him, but he hasn't looked just great at anything yet. I mean, he didn't do too well here last year. Got a 43rd, so barely better than half the field. If he gets chalky up, I may have to fade the Matsu this week. You need putters. We know that's not his game style. I mean, to contend and be up there. Now, you don't need that for him, but you do need a top 20 type finish, top 25. And I'd like to get a low on Matsu come Wednesday, and then I'll be on it. But at 89, I think some people may be clicking it. I'd rather go to Reed personally at 8,800 right now. Webb, I think Webb will get talked up. Bermuda should be plenty high owned. I don't know what I'll do here yet. He got 2nd here last year, played great, obviously does well. Probably a potential fade for me, or under-owned leverage play, be unique in those lineups type of deal. X probably get talked up a lot. He plays no cut, limited field events well, rightfully so. Have no problem with X. $9,800, 27th here last year, 52nd in 2017. I remember that was probably one of his first. I didn't know if he was pro then, technically, maybe an AM. Last 2 tournaments, a 14th, a 13th. He's a guy that can get hot and get a lot of birdies and all that. If you don't have to worry about that miscut that creeps up every once in a while, can score and score well. And then maybe a couple of bad holes that hurt him as much as a typical format. So I don't mind exit either. Sungjae, I imagine, will be chalk. I just don't see – I love him. I got no problem going to him. Recent form has been garbage. Hasn't played here. Still 13th in my stat model. 40th overall. Definitely worth a bet look. 70 to 80, depending on where you're looking. But 7,500 just seems really, really cheap for his upside and potential. So I like Sungjae this week. A couple more guys I think, have high potentials. They're not going to rate out real well. But Strillman, he's 10th in my stat model, but not outside of that. He's had up and down. Maybe a no cut helps him. And then the last one, Spieth, same deal. Maybe he just relaxes. He's in it. He gets to play. He's not going to have anything that pulls sexy. He got a 12th here last year. He got a 13th at Memorial. 8,100 is certainly cheap enough for him. I don't mind having a few shares of him in GPP style strategy. I mean, I've kind of talked about it. I think you're going to have to, depend on what you're playing. I got my new GPP article out, and I've been working on another format article that I'm going to introduce probably Wednesday morning for you guys. I think you'll like it as well. Kind of get into more of that strategy stuff on the premium content. But I mean, overall, I think you have to decide how you want to play the top, and don't spread yourself out. Try to have it like last week. You don't want to have a bunch of all of them. Make some hard choices, pick two, and then build down. And naturally lend yourself to build balanced, but that doesn't mean that's the way the industry is going to kind of go. So we'll see how Wednesday comes along. Ownership gets pretty dispersed, just because of so many good guys. So although I do ownership and all that this week, I don't let it drive me too much as I just go with the gut plays and who I like. If you don't like these no-cut stuff, certainly fine to scale back on your bankroll. But, it's a good tournament to still go at if you feel very comfortable with how your builds are going. Betting strategy brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. We will have our second free roll next week for the PGA Championship. If you go to gupscorner.com/affiliates, click on the link if you haven't already, or use the code GUP when you deposit anywhere from $20 to $50. You can deposit more if you want, but up to $50, you get a free match, 100%. So if you put 50 in, you get 100. You get 50, you have a total of 100. When you put it in action, you're in the free roll. You get in the free roll for free. They're giving away monkey dollars. We're giving away. Next week, we'll probably do some polos and subscriptions type stuff. You still got to play in the paid contest, but when you're in those, you're automatically in the free roll without having to do anything extra. So it's a pretty cool deal that they're throwing together. And for the first major, we'll have some wall-to-wall content on that as well. So go to gupscorner.com/affiliate, click the link. That's the easiest way. Deposit, you're good. If you've already deposited with GUP or the link, you're in it already for next week too. Nothing more to do. So that's a good part. Once you're in it, you'll be in it. We'll probably do 2 or 3 more of these throughout this main season with those guys. And the first one was successful. And I think everybody kind of caught along on night 2 and night 3. And we had a lot of people join it. So we're looking forward to that next week. Betting strategy, kind of 10 right out the gate. I like Hovland. Still haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm trying to see where I'm going to go with the board. Neiman, 80-1. Brooks, 33-1. Reed, 33-1. It's my free play of the week. Connors, 100-1. Duncan, 300-1. That's more of a each way if you're going to bet it, or maybe a great potential top 20 play, especially in a limited field. Sometimes the books don't adjust that enough for the lower people and no cut. So maybe we can take advantage of that once they roll those numbers out. Leishman, 60-1. Sungjae, 80-1. Wallace, 100-1. He was a guy that mentioned that. That's my fault because I do like Wallace a lot this week. He'll be on the, he plays tough courses generally better than average than some. I didn't mention him at all, but he is a guy that I'll have on my. He should be in the roundtable wrap up. I like Wallace this week. And then Morikawa, 25-1 is the last one. That kind of goes back to. Maybe I go heavy on Hovland and DK and take the bet on Morikawa. Do I throw DJ in the official card? Tons to decide there on the card, but those are the 10 that kind of popped out to me for today. One and done, I talked about it earlier. Everybody's alive. New segment. So, get your picks in, get them in early. You can change them 100 times if you want, but get one in tonight so you're in so you don't forget if you get sidetracked. My top guys are probably Rory, Hovland, and Reed. I don't really have a floor play this week because it's a start of a new segment. So you should either be trying to, get a winner who you think is going to win the tournament, or maybe a skins play if you're being, conservative to an extent. But there's not that many tournaments left. So I like Rory, Hovland, Reed, Neiman, maybe some guys that upside solo. If you are looking at a skin for some reason, Connors, Answer's been playing well. I like a lower or higher scoring event for him. So 13, 14 under, I think fits Answer better than 19 to 22 under. And then Wallace, again, maybe another skin type play. Hatton is a guy that can certainly win, this type of event and maybe not be high owned in the one and done, or maybe probably not high owned. If you have a Brooks, I don't want to say DJ, but a Brooks or a Rahm, you may want to use them because they may not be that many guys that really have those guys left at this point. So you can go in there and kind of tell how many times a guy's been picked this season, and that can help guide you on that. As always, join me Wednesday night in the chat room 5:30 Eastern is our new start time. That's going really well. Everybody seems to love that. Last week I had to go super early because I had an event I had to be out of town for, but this will be normal time, 5:30 Eastern. We go live for the premium members, all the latest information, weather, updated rankings, ownership, reveal, all that kind of stuff. Big week next week for the PGA Championship. We'll have tons of giveaways. First major of the year. It's also my birthday week, so we'll celebrate the right way. Make sure you're a premium member. I get kind of Christmassy like in those slacks at night sometimes. And next week's gonna be a great week all the way around. You get an exciting major, birthday week on top of it. So be a good week to be a member. Final thoughts for me. I thought today I read this quote earlier and wrote it down because if you listen to it, it does make a lot of sense, especially in these time and age we're in. It says positivity, happiness, gratitude, and love aren't accidents. They don't come from external things, places, or other people. Life is lived from moment to moment, and in each successive moment, we are blessed to have the opportunity to make a choice about the quality of attention and emotion we like to bring. It's basically saying, and kind of what it went off last week is, we have the choice to bring what we want to bring into our life. Like you're not, external things, you hear money doesn't make you happy, stuff like that. Other people don't necessarily they can make you happy, but that's a choice if you want to allow that person into. But the start of it is a part of the copy. Positivity, happiness, gratitude, and love aren't accidents. That really drove home to me. And I've been pushing that, in the community and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we're going to be about. Staying positive. There's so much negativity in the world. This is not the place we need to be negative. Some that acted up a little bit in Slack, and I'm just done with that stuff. Like that's not what that place is for. You want to go piss a match and all that stuff, go to Twitter. You can go do it all you want, but our Slack's going to be for what we all love and enjoy, and kind of our bubble per se. I saw someone say that earlier in Slack, just kind of our bubble of happiness, and that's what we're going to have in there. Hope you guys have a blessed week. I will see you guys Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern. Have a good night. Thanks.
SmashFactor.